this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the Wrestling Time Potion. For tonight, I'll be reviewing AEW Dynamite Quake by the Lake. All right, so a lot happened on tonight's show, but let's talk about the biggest talking point of the night. CM Punk making his grand return after Jon Moxley defeated Chris Jericho. And I'm personally shocked because I was not expecting CM Punk to return tonight. Honestly, I wasn't. And they came out, they both CM Punk and Moxley stared at each other. Moxley flipped him off and he pushed, as he was walking, he bumped into him. And so I think that's CM Punk coming back was unexpected. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And honestly, this is gonna be your all out match. It's gonna be Jon Moxley versus CM Punk at All Out. So I'm so excited, cannot wait. And it's kind of funny how when you look at their history, Jon Moxley came into the WWE as part of the Shield, as part of CM Punk's mercenaries. So it's now you got Punk versus Moxley. This is gonna be good. I cannot wait. We're gonna get CM Punk versus Jon Moxley. I totally was not expecting this at all. Not whatsoever. I didn't, and I knew when the match ended early, when Jericho versus Jon Moxley ended early, I was like, I'm just gonna go down. Of course, usual, BCC, JSA coming out, but then CM Punk coming out at the end and cleaning house, totally unexpected and completely shocking, if you ask me. But let's recap and start from the beginning because there's a lot that went down tonight. So tonight's show kicked off with the Coffin match is Darby Allin versus Brody King. Now this is only the third Coffin match in AEW history. And Darby Allin has been a part of all three. The first Coffin match, he faced off against Ethan Page. The second one, he faced off against Andrade. And he's undefeated in all three matches. That stare down between both of them was great. Yeah, it was. I do apologize for my dog. I don't know if you guys can hear it. But right off the get-go, Darby Allin attacked Brody King. He attacked Brody King and he attacked him with that skateboard that had thumbtacks on it and busted him open not even a minute into the match. I thought it was pretty cool, honestly. I was not expecting to see blood that fast. And that skateboard snapped in half. That avalanche cold red to Brody King was also pretty cool, too. But you gotta give it props to Brody King. Because, he was tossing Darby Allin around like a ragdoll at some points into the barricade. Brody King was bleeding like crazy in that match. Yeah, he was. And so at one point the lights go out and I feel I don't know about you guys, but I feel the lights were out for a while. I feel the lights took too long to come back up. So the House of Black comes out and you have Julia Hart cause a distraction and that allows for a chop block for Darby Allin to get hit with the chop block. Oh, and Brody King with that cannonball through the table. Oh my God. So, one of the funny part in this match, too, was when Buddy Matthews, he opens up the coffin and, Sting is inside with, a bat. And, Sting enters the ring and he throws a bat to Malachi Black, and they're kind of just staring at each other, but Malachi Black runs away, and Sting chases after him. And Darby Allin, any sequence with this is Darby Allin chokes Brody King with his own chain, and Brody King falls into the coffin, and Darby Allin is victorious. So really good way to kick off tonight's episode. I really dug that coffin match, and it seems like these coffin matches, I laughed at when Brody passed out and just fell right in the coffin and the lid just shut down on its own. Right? That was hilarious. I feel like these coffin matches are going to be Brody's specialty. I feel like every time he gets involved in a coffin match, he's going to be undefeated, and it's going to be keep going until that one time where they're trying to probably put a new wrestler over, and that person probably defeats for Darby Allin. That's how I see this going. So then we get a quick Jon Moxley promo, and in this promo, he's basically talking about like how people always come at him saying with Interim every 2 minutes. And that, you know, for 2 decades, we've watched the Lionheart and his fighting spirit on full display. And that tonight he was going to push it to a breaking point, and his body will break his spirit. His body will break if spirit doesn't. He's the Jade Cargill of coffin matches, undefeated in them. Yeah. And so this was followed up by a Chris Jericho promo. And Chris Jericho is basically talking about how, like, he's this last survivor of Stu's Heart Dungeon. He's been painting canvases with red blood. And he says you can fix it too. But he said the last survivor would be AEW World Champion. So I really dug that promo by both Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho. Corazón de León, Lionheart, Chris Jericho. So our first major announcement is that the Trios tournament begins next week. A couple of interesting selections, but one thing that I did notice was you had Andrade, Rush, and Dragon Lee versus the Bucks and the Mystery Partner. So before I get any further in this, I'm just going to throw out an assumption here. It's going to be Omega, I think, but I'm not going to fully explain why I think that until I get to the actual segment. So then this leads into a tornado tag match, Rush and Andrade versus the Lucha Brothers. And I have to say, as a fellow Latina, especially one of Mexican descent, it always warms my heart to see such amazing Latino talent be on display. This match was incredible. I love that. Tournament is missing some teams. Yeah. I absolutely just love that. Seeing Latino talent fully be put on display like that. Amazing, honestly. And I am so, it makes me proud to be a Latina, you know? One thing they did notice was that all the men wore black and white in this in some type of another. Commentary even made note that Penta has reverted back to his original colors and he's no longer a Penta Oscuro. So it's like, I thought that was interesting how all men were wearing like black and white in some type of, where that match was chaotic. Of course, Rey Fenix doing the whole Eddie thing, and he did the frog splash, so absolutely love that. And at one point, all 4 men go down. That fear factor to Andrade on the ring apron. Like, I thought he was going to be out the rest of the match, but he wasn't. The destroyer from Penta to Andrade on the apron was awesome. Yeah, it was. Of course, Jose, the assistant, takes out Alex Ambrajantes on the side. Oh my God, like, Rush tied Penta's mask to the rope, and it was a double knot. Those bastards. Do you know how hard it is to undo a double knot, especially when you tighten it? It's really hard. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever double knotted their shoes, but sometimes it's really hard to undo that double knot. So, like, poor Penta had to take off his mask and, like, try to break up the pin to save the match for them. Like, I don't know if it's possible to wear double mask, but maybe he should start double masking it to avoid that. And in the end, Andrade hits the hammerlock DDT to Phoenix and allowing Rush and Andrade to be victorious. Absolutely love that match, like I said. I never double knot my shoes. Who double knots shoes, hair, and mask? LOL. I double knot my hairbands and my shoes. I double knot everything. I like double knots. Like, because I feel like if you just single knot everything, like it's easy to get untied. All right. So this whole Young Bucks segment, remember, they have a question mark, so we don't know who's going to be their mystery partner. So they go to the back to the Dark Order's locker room, and they're basically go there looking for Hangman Adam Page. And they apologize to him, and they want to thank Hangman for saving them last week, and that they wish they could take back everything that they did. And Matt Jackson makes note of the fact that they're in the same building where Hangman won the world title. Yeah, he won the world title last year at AEW Full Gear in that same arena. And so The Young Bucks basically asked Hangman to be their partner. But Hangman says that the Dark Order has been there for him throughout everything and that they had their backs. The Dark Order had his back when the Bucks did it. And so he said that the Dark Order is going to enter the tournament as a trio and he's going to be in their corner. So he politely declines the Young Bucks offer. So now that only leaves one thing. It's going to be Omega. It really is. I remember Fightful Select reported that Omega was scheduled for a major match with the Young Bucks in a 3-on-3 match. So obviously it's going to be the final two teams. It's going to be the Elite versus the Undisputed Elite. Or I should say Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. I think those are going to be your final two teams. And Omega's definitely coming back next week. Well, okay. I don't know for sure, but I'm just throwing it out there. He's coming back, and it's going to be him. Proof in point. There. Omega is returning next week. Yeah, because if it's not Hangman, who else can it be? Who else? You know, Cody Rhodes is no longer with AEW, so he's not an option anymore either. So your only option is Omega. Then we had Anthony Henry versus Luchasaurs. I'm just going to call this what it is. This was a squash match through and through. There's nothing more to add or say to this match. Luchasaurs is victorious. And then it cuts to Christian Cage clapping backstage and Jungle Boy attacks him. The one thing I am still confused about is why is Luchasaurus still coming out in black attire and his heel theme if he's not a heel technically? I mean, is he going to like turn on Jungle Boy eventually? Are they planting the seeds? Like what's going on here? Like I sometimes I don't get some of AEW's decisions when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, like if he's faced, like just give him his old stuff back. Like seriously, I don't get that. But whatever. Danhausen has another option. LOL. So then we get a quick Miro promo, and the one thing that the main talking point of this promo is that Julia Hart shows up and she touches his beard, and he says there's only one woman who can touch the Redeemer. He's referring obviously to his wife Lana. So it's very interesting that he said that and that happened. I wonder if that's her. I wonder if like she's gonna join him in AEW. So very curious to see if that leads to something or if that was just like a one-off line. But normally AEW kind of tends to foreshadow and hint at things. So maybe it is. All right. So then we get a Jade Lethal, Sonjay Dutt, Satan Singh segment. I don't know if they have an official name. So I'm just going by their ring names. So I don't think they have a stable name. I think CJ Perry will be joining AEW managing her husband. Yeah. We're going to see Miro Day. So basically, this is Jay Lethal calling out Warlow, and he demands that Warlow defend the TNT title match against him one more time, or they will find him and take the title from him. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe in a way, like Jay Lethal calling out Samoa Joe until he got his match. FTR make their grand return by coming out and backing up Warlow, and they hit Jay Lethal with the big rig. So kind of get that vibe. So we'll see. So, JSA segments, really quickly, they're just talking about how history's going to be made tonight. Again, the whole AEW Galaxy appreciate us, and that they got a little bit of the bubbly. And Daniel Garcia's the Dragon Slayer, and of course, Anna Jay with her whole choking out thing. One more Great Value, Great Khali, aka Satan, then we get Ricky Starks versus Aaron Solo. This match was kind of short. I don't want to say it was a squash match, but it was kind of short. Ricky Starks picking up the victory. Nick Comoroto tries to attack Starks at the end of the match, but he throws Solo at him. So I thought that was pretty funny. All right. And then we get the TVS Championship match. It's Madison Rayne making her in-ring debut versus Jade Cargill. And I'm not surprised Jade Cargill won. But commentary did make note that Chris Statlander is out with an injury, and Toni Storm is going to take her spot as number 1 ranked. And it's interesting because I haven't heard anything about Chris Statlander being injured. This is the first time I'm hearing this. I don't know if it's a legit injury or if it's a kayfabe injury, and it really sucks because like I honestly thought it was going to be Chris Statlander versus Jade Cargill at All Out. But at the end of the match, Athena sneak attacks Jade and basically mocks her. So I feel like this is the direction they're going to go. It's going to be Athena versus Jade Cargill at All Out. And I think Athena's going to take that belt. Is going to be the one to take that belt off Jade. Then we get a quick Thunderstorm segment. And Tony says that she's going to be in action and plans to keep the momentum going. And Thunder Rosa says she's going to be there for Tony. So obviously planting the seeds for Tony Storm to face Thunder Rosa again. I think it's kayfabe injury. Heard no news of her injury being legit. Yeah, exactly. Same here. I haven't heard anything. So who knows? So we found out a couple things. So next week on Wednesday, it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia. Best 2 out of 3 falls. Gun Club versus Danhausen and the former Eric Rowan on Rampage. Parker Bordeaux making his in-ring debut for AEW on TV. The Guevaras versus Sky Blue and Dante Martin. And then Bryan Danielson returns and speaks on Rampage. So all that is happening on Rampage. Stacked episode of Rampage. I don't know how they're going to fit all of that in 1 hour, but they're going to find some way. And of course, also next week, we're going to have the Young Bucks and Mystery Partner versus Dragon Lee, Rush, and Andrade. Still think it's going to be Omega. All right. In our main event, it is the AEW Interim World Title match. It's Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley 2. Chris Jericho coming out in his Lionheart attire and his theme music, O Corazón de León, as he was known in Mexico. Jericho flips off Moxley. Moxley flips him back off, which I thought was so hilarious. Ty has a new name. She's Ty Mellow. Ty, bring me my mellow yellow. LOL. That's funny. So this was a good match. A back and forth slugfest. I really like that they were slapping each other. Jericho slapped Moxley. Moxley slapped Jericho. Oh my God. I don't know, but I cringed when when Jericho pulled Moxley's earring off. Like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. That just made me cringe. Jericho doing the line saw to Moxley. At one point, both Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho were busted open during this. Because just Chris Jericho exposed the turnbuckle, which Moxley got sent face first, and he hit him with the Judas effect. And apparently, Moxley is the first person to kick out of the Judas effect. And Jericho tries to hit Moxley with the title, but he moves and Jericho goes face first into the exposed turnbuckle. This is when Jericho gets busted open and Jon Moxley wins by submission. I honestly thought Jericho was going to pass out. I didn't think he was going to tap out, but it's okay. Jericho can afford to tap out. And wow, that was amazing. Good main event. And of course, JSA, BCC, they all come out. Kingston and Ortiz come out. And this was done so CM Punk can come out, clean house. CM Punk and Jon Moxley have their moment. They stare at each other. Moxley flips at Punk, and he just shoves him out as he's leaving. That's going to be your all-out main event. It's going to be CM Punk versus Jon Moxley. And that's going to be great. It's going to be great. I cannot wait. And, I feel like wrestling now is like you can have good wrestling every week with WWE and AEW and Impact Wrestling. It's just going to be good wrestling all week long. I actually really enjoyed tonight's episode of Dynamite, or I should say Quake by the Lake. I don't think there's really one thing I disliked at all. Yeah. It was a really, really good show. 10-10 show this Sunday better than Brawl Out this week. And honestly, I'm going to have to give this a Ty Dillinger, a perfect 10. Or actually, I should start calling these perfect 10s because like Sean Spears is no longer Ty Dillinger. A 10 Vance. A 10 for Dark Order's 10. Preston Vance. I should start calling it a Preston Vance 10. Oh my God. But it's a good show. So I do have like a small announcement. So tomorrow I'm not going to cover Impact Wrestling because I am going to the WrestleMania launch party. So no Impact review tomorrow. And that means that I'll see you guys on Friday after AEW Rampage. But thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And since it is still Power Month, may the power protect each and every one of you. Bye, and see you guys Friday.